Hello, hello. Oh, welcome, everybody. This is a continuation of my Meet the Designer series where I get to sit down and do a little bit of chatting with some of my favorite crafty friends. And today I have the honor and the pleasure of interviewing Lala, who is Mommy Guide Inc. here on YouTube. And what I love best about this series is I get to kind of play and hang out and craft with my friends on my Crafty Fun with Friends live stream, but often we're just crafting and enjoying each other's companies and goofing around during those streams. and and I don't think I have really had the opportunity to really sit down and learn about my friends, find out about their journey on how they came to where they're at today, and hear their thoughts on things like being part of a design team, which for me, I'm very passionate about helping other designers and other creators who have a goal of making it onto design teams. And so I'm always very fascinated to learn more about um, designers and how they feel about design teams, how they got onto the design teams that they are on, and as well, how I, as a design team manager, can improve and make it a better experience for them. So, welcome to everybody who is joining us. We are currently streaming out to my channel, which is LV Handcrafted. We're streaming out to Lala's channel, which is Mommy Guide Inc. And we are streaming out to my Instagram as well. So wherever you're joining from, I hope you'll say a happy hello as I bring on my amazing guest. Hi, Lala.
Hi, Lynn. Perfect
Welcome.
timing because Gaz was just saying,
I
is there no video
just
on this?
I just saw that. So, yes, we do have video. It's not
See,
just
your
going.
wish is our command, Your Highness Gaz.
I do like to start off so that everybody knows this isn't a crafting live stream. This is part of
Mhm.
my I actually have a podcast because that's what YouTube likes to call it, and it's
Mhm.
all about design teams. And so there's some live streams there where I've had some really great conversations with other designers as part of roundtable conversation, as well as company owners of design teams. But as a continuation of that, I like to sit down and do these one-on-one interviews. And so welcome, friend. Thanks for joining. Do you want to tell people just a little bit about yourself and where you're joining from before we really dive into your creative journey and finding out more about you as a crafter?
All right. First and foremost, good evening, Lynn, and good evening to most of you. Excuse me. And of course, good afternoon, I think, too. Is it good morning also? Good evening to Gaz. All right. So I'm Mommy Lala or Lala of Mommy Guide Inc. And that's me on all the socials. So I do a lot of course, crafting videos, lives, and awesome, food shorts and travel shorts. So basically, that's me so far in a nutshell. So I don't want to elaborate further because I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So again, I'd like to also say hi to the people from our local community. I see we have Judy and also we have KM coming in from the Philippines. There you go.
Oh, welcome from the Philippines. I do love how global our community is. It's one of the things that's really um, fascinating for me because I am just really thrilled to get inspiration from, because every culture has like a different design aesthetic. So I really like seeing our global community come together, and being able to do live streams like this means that we can even like almost face to face connect, sort of.
Exactly. And even ask, so what are you eating? What's for breakfast?
Yes.
What's for dinner?
That's true. I do love hearing about everybody's food choices.
Yes, like what's the pizza you don't want to eat?
Yeah, those are sorts of the conversations that we have on Crafty Fun. So
Exactly.
that's that's kind of the that's as deep as we go in terms of serious conversation. So so that's why this is a real treat. It's a real pleasure to have this opportunity and be able to sit and chat and really get to know you better, Lala, and understand where your journey started as a crafter and where you're at as well. Susan says I've got movie popcorn for tonight's show. Aw. That
What's the
sounds
flavor?
that sounds delicious.
Exactly.
Gaz says,
So
"Girls, I'm not eating anything tonight." Oh, all you
why?
can eat buffet breakfast. Good. That's smart. That's good planning, my friend. Gaz
Yes,
is really
perfect.
Gaz knows how to get his money's worth because I think he went to like an all you can drink place too one time.
Great advice. Great advice, Your Highness. There you go. Okay.
um,
So I will answer. Okay, how I started? Is that already the first
Actually,
question?
let
Okay.
me let me officially get us
Ah, okay.
started. So, how did you? So, just so that folks know,
Mhm.
there are some planned questions. These are the same questions that I ask all of the designers that I interview, but I have two versions of them. I have one version for my friends who are very, very experienced with being on design teams. And I have another version for my designer friends who, for them, design teams might be something a little bit more new. And those are the questions that we have today for Lala. And so many of these questions are similar or the same as what you will have seen in previous interviews. And they're all on the same podcast if you want to check those out later. But I think it's always really refreshing for me, especially to get the new designer perspective. And I find that that's very valuable for folks who are interested and have never been on a team before to also have that experience of getting to know what it's like as a new person to design teams. So before we get into the design team aspect of things, let's understand where Lala's journey started. So how did you get into paper crafting?
All right. So when I was really, really young, that was so many decades ago, guys.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
won't
let me.
ask when you got started. We'll just say how did you get started?
All right. So one of my step aunts was a teacher. Okay, and every school year she would design her classroom before the start of the school year. She would cut out letters and stuff and decorate the whole classroom. And she would bring me along during the summer, and that's
Oh.
how I learned how to start cutting papers into different shapes and letters and stuff. And that started in me that fun journey with papers. So I started really with scrapbooking. Anything and everything that I see would be considered something that I can put in my scrapbook. My first, a graduation where they gave me a lei, because that's very common here in the Philippines. So as part of any important celebration, they give you a lei. I dried that and put that in my scrapbook. The first time I went out with friends they call it disco before, guys. I kept the tissue paper, right? So it all
Aw.
started with that. And so moving forward, I would always be part of the decorating team for the different clubs or the classrooms that I was part of, and that you know um, led into other crafts as well. Lynn. All right, so scrapbooking into planners, into card making, even into needlecraft, and basically all other craft. It's like so much fun for me to do all of these things. That's why People fondly call me Jill of all trades, mistress of none. There you go.
um, well, all crafts except you don't sew, except on paper.
Oh
Oh, but
yes,
you make
and
pajamas. You do make
pajamas.
pajamas.
There,
Yeah,
that
that counts.
it's
That
a
counts. That
pajama.
counts.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm open to learning. Like the other week, my son did it for his portfolio because I got inspired by you. The push,
Oh.
what is it called? Push needle crafting?
Oh yeah, yeah. Punch needling.
Punch needle. There you go. Punch needle. So it was so much fun. My son had a
Oh,
blast. I like this better than
yay.
embroidery, mom, because embroidery is it was so difficult for him.
Yeah, it's so easy, right?
Mm.
Um, oh, here we go. You're taking you are you up for taking orders? I need Lala original PJs. I'll send fabric.
You're so brave. You're so brave, my friend.
All right, Lala. I think that's a yes. I think Lala's gonna be open for
All right.
orders.
All right. Send me your measurements, my friend. We'll see. I'll make one
um,
holiday theme one.
Aw, that's so fabulous. So, so it's fascinating that you got started in this journey as like a little helper, like a little crafty helper to your
Mm.
aunt. And teachers do a lot of craft and DIY sort of things. They have to be very
Mm.
resourceful. And so how fun that that's how your journey began. That's different to anything. I mean, I know scrapbooking was next, but preceding scrapbooking, it's kind of interesting that you kind of helped in the classroom. So that's neat. That's very different. And then it sounds like you moved on to scrapbooking, and then that was like the gateway to everything else.
Oh, there's one thing that I got into so big time then. But just the shopping.
The
Adult
shopping.
coloring. Adult coloring became such a famous one for several years, the past decade or so, right? And my daughter was the one who was like so into that calligraphy, coloring, and so I said, okay, I will buy all the best materials. So I bought all the branded ones, those
Of
Prisma
course.
things, the biggest one. Okay, the whatever you have there, watercolor, whatever. I bought all of them, thinking that
Oh,
if you have the best materials, you'll have the best outputs. Now
the
we know
best
it's not the
outfit.
same. There you go. Sorry, I can, let's go back to the main.
No, that's fabulous. That's awesome. Um, okay, so now that we know a little bit of how your journey started, how would you actually describe your style
Mhm.
of paper crafting? Not to paint yourself. I know that you're a very multi crafter, so I don't want to paint anybody into a bucket. But for folks who might not be familiar with your work, how would you describe yourself in
Okay,
terms of your style?
that's a great question. At this point in my life, at this season in my life, Lynn, so I think that's the best way that I can answer this one. Because really, there were very different seasons, right? I
Oh,
started out into scrapbooking big time. When I say big time, because before, guys, when you say crafting here in the Philippines, we really only had like art paper, colored paper. That's it. And crayons and markers, right? We didn't have those kinds of things that you have available to you in terms of, the materials and stuff until the the early 2000s, when finally materials coming from the US and all over the world have finally been able to find their way here. And it was
oh,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
you can have pattern paper, you can have this and that, right? So because I was starting out with this kind of, I used to do a different one, although it was scrapbooking. So I considered myself back then a simple scrapbooker, a simple crafter, meaning you just take away whatever is the basic rules, like color blocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you say simple, it's like For me, my definition for that one would be you just basically follow what are the common rules for a specific crafting, right? So I never veered away from what
Mm.
is supposed to be expected from a specific craft because I was afraid. You know how it is when you're a newbie? It's like you're afraid to, go farther because you might sink, like if you're a swimmer, right? So you just stay where you're comfortable. And for a very long time, that's where I stayed at until, I found my crafty footing, so to speak, and then ventured and explored new things. And at this point in my life, I feel that I could consider the way I do things somehow eclectic. Eclectic in a sense that I like mixing things up. It's like I don't feel that there's a specific name for this. You can't really call it mixed media. You can't really call this simple. But can't really,
Yeah, because I was gonna ask, would you say it's
right?
mixed media? Like, is that a good
Exactly, right? Because
umbrella?
it's if you were really gonna ask the mixed media artist, I don't think they would really consider that mixed media. But if you ask the simple scrapbookers, maybe not as well. So it's like I finally found that so-called crafter piece to have that to be brave enough to embrace what I want to put into my work, right? Before
Yeah.
I was always scared of, oh, maybe people will say this is not really simple, or this is not really mixed media, or this is not really this, maybe age. Aged. So I've embraced. Now I can really say that what you see in my work is basically what I love doing. So unless somebody is like it's a really specific project, Lynn, if you ask me to close my eyes, it's like your default, right? So you would see layers, you would see lots of colors,
Yeah.
mostly monochromatic, right? So color
Okay.
families. So I'm very comfortable with that. So if there's no parameter, no nothing, you would see like when I'm with Lynn, right, during Crafty Fun Friends, right? So you would see that I always somehow veer towards that design style because that's how I think I feel very comfortable at this point, right? So because we do all evolve as well, right? So
Right.
eventually, oh, you get tired of this, and then you evolve into something like new for a while, right? So we're always improving and changing. So that's why Lynn said it's hard to really tell somebody, oh, she is a mixed media artist, she is this and that, because truth be told, you know that as well. You also want to do other things, right? So at this point,
Right.
that's why I say probably eclectic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And I think that it's really beautiful to hear you say that because I feel like what it's sounding like is that you have truly found your own style. If you can't, bucket yourself into one thing, that means that you are uniquely your own. And it's sounding to me like you have found your voice as a creator. Um and so that's really wonderful that you're at that point. And I'm sure your style will continue to evolve, but it will always uniquely be you and
Exactly. You
a
know, Lynn, that's
representation of
correct.
you.
I love the way you say it. Uniquely you. Right? So you have to embrace that. It took me decades to do that, my friends. So I hope it doesn't take you that long as much. I have
Well,
so many preconceived negative thoughts about the things I can and cannot do and how people will perceive me. That's why it stopped me from finding who I want to be as a crafter. So I hope you don't, be stuck in that if you are in that situation.
let's dive into that a little bit. So,
Mhm.
how do you feel? Like, what do you feel helped you break out of those lines that you were coloring inside of, so to speak? And how did you find your voice? How did you find your style? Do you know that?
Great.
Like, I don't know that you know how to like
Great
pinpoint that,
question.
but
Very great
yeah.
question. Guys, so for those who are quite young, so learn from your seniors. All right. So that's me. All right. So again, so the thing is, I think the really thing that helped me is I went online. I went People say a lot of negative things about being a content creator, doing, online. It's still best if you do face to face and stuff like that. And I had the same mindset. Mind you, I had the same mindset. Even in my businesses, my tutorial centers and stuff, people would ask me, can we do, no, 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 no. It doesn't work. It has to be face to face until we were forced to do this. And then I realized, Lynn, that I found, first and foremost, I had to find confidence and accept who I am as a person. Because if you are really not comfortable of who you are, it it trickles down into all the things that you do, and that included crafting for me. And so when I joined this group called Live Streaming Pros. They had a 1 month challenge. So you see me going live every month, right? Every now and then, because that's the inspiration from that. I started with that, and from there, and that was an international group. In so I'm a Filipino crafter, and of course, I crafted with Filipinos, right? So most of the time, it's within my comfort zone. So it was fine. And then when I joined the international content creator community, not even crafting, then it was really, most of them were into tech
Right.
troublemakers there and some others.
Yep.
So most of them were in business coach as business coach. I think I was just one of several. I think it was Amy Yulin, okay, of
Oh,
Creativity
right.
Playground, who was actually one of the moderators. And on the first day that I was there, friends, nobody was watching, nobody was commenting, and I would see
Oh.
like there were 600 of us from all over the
Oh.
world. 24 hours, somebody would always go live. And so I was like, what? And then when it came to me to go live, nobody was watching. Nobody. I said, maybe because nobody, I'm not interesting enough. I don't, I'm not worth it. So, all those negative, thoughts.
Right.
And then Amy came into the chat. She was one of the moderators. So that's why hats off to moderators, because they really help boost your confidence. And she said, oh, I'm a crafter too. And then, we started talking and I relaxed. And so eventually after that first live stream that I did in that group, I realized, what's what am I afraid of? I am here to learn. It's not about popularity. I'm not here for popularity. I'm not here to become famous, right? I want to learn. That was and so if it's learning that you want, then you embrace everything about the learning process, right? So you make a mistake, you learn from it, and that group is so beautiful in the sense that everybody was so encouraging. um if you want to do comments or criticize, it has to always be in a positive way, because we have a ton of moderators who really get kicked out super fast if you do something bad. So having a group, the private group like that, who you can just be comfortable because you will not be judged, really help.
Mm.
And from then on, it just started. I don't know anything about tech, my God. I just like everybody. So I thought buying all the high tech products, the computers, the cameras would help. No, the next thing is, do you know how to use them? So the best thing is to just use your phone. So that's one thing that I learned, right? It's not about the products. It's not about that. It's about you knowing how to actually use it. So having a community that is so kind, so embracing, so encouraging is, for me, the best thing that really helped me come out and do what I do at this point. And then I found our community, right? We do have our community here also in the Philippines who are also very, very supportive. And when I found Lynn, I found Helen, and then I met all of you, it's like, oh, it's the same feel. I feel safe, right? So, because when you feel safe, you can be yourself. You can
Yeah.
let your hair down. You can, because you're going to be judged. Because they understand, how it feels to be judged, right? So it's
Right.
really
Right.
support. There are times you're not very creative for whatever reason, then that's fine. People will not judge you. And that's what I love about our community. And that has really given me, the steady footing to just, move. My accent, guys, don't have an American accent or a British one. And that was the number one impediment for me, Lynn. What if they
Mhm.
feel they can, or what if they cannot understand because of the way I talk or my accent or the words that I use? And then I realized nobody cares, Lala. As long as they understand. You can even do, sign language and it's gonna be fine. People will not judge you for that. Again, you need to find the community that, you will really feel safe. That's very important, especially if you are starting out. And it took me a while to find it, but when I did, it's like, it gave me wings, so to speak. So there.
So it sounds like, if I can just recap,
Mm-hmm.
that you found your style, you broke out of those early days of just kind of following prescriptive
Mm-hmm.
um, designs by really surrounding yourself with a community that was supportive of you, and that helped you to build some confidence and to share, and not be afraid to take chances, to learn new things, to explore different things. And so I think for anyone who is starting in their crafty journey, that's an important lesson that we can all learn from Lala, that start wherever you're going to start. We're all on a creative journey that's unique to ourselves, and where yours may lead could be different to where, Lala's is headed and where mine is headed, but it's your own. And if you're surrounded by a community that's supportive, whether that's family or friends or those of us online here, be a part of a community, be a part of, a friend group that is safe and accepting of you as you are. So,
Exactly.
so I think that's really fabulous. And um, Gaz says I experienced the same. Lala, I didn't think anyone would be interested and like me and what I have to say or do. And here I am a year later with 300 yay subs on YouTube. I found a lot of encouragement in the community. Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that as a creator who, whether you put yourself out there and you share, what you're making with the world,
Mm-hmm.
that's a personal choice, and but it can be hard to do that and to put yourself out there publicly.
True.
So kudos to everybody. And like Lala was saying, if you have connected yourself to a community that is supportive, is friendly, is they're going to be there to support you. They're going to be there to chat with, because especially if you live stream and there's nobody there. I remember those early days too, right?
Yeah.
So we've all been there. It's hard. The hardest thing is to just do it and to just get started. And so I do love, thank you, Jana, for putting question in front of your question. It does help me to see them in the chat. So if you have questions as we go, feel free to pop them in the chat wherever you are watching from. I can see all questions, all comments, and if you are watching on Instagram, I can see your comments. I just can't bring them on screen just due to the technology that I'm using. Jana's question is, Lala, do you feel a difference in finding your style in the Philippines as compared to Western countries? Do you think that there's a difference in artistic influences?
Differences in artistic influences. I think not really now, because of globalization. I think that's one of the things that globalization has really helped in terms of, influences. Now, before, it was really very difficult for us to find what is like globally out there, right? So we were just cooped up in our own in our own little world, so to speak. So, and then we were very limited with also the materials. And I think that's why, in terms of, creativity, we really need to find creativity to turn those very simple materials that what we had in front of us into something, right? But nowadays I feel that it's the same. Maybe it's more of the culture in terms of, I feel that, you know um the western countries, you guys are more relaxed in everything, right? So in terms of putting pressure into oneself, it's not that heavy, so to speak. I don't know. Maybe it's it's a Filipino thing or it's an Asian thing. I'm not sure, or it's an Eastern thing. But it's like the pressure is so huge. It's like if you want to do something, you have to be the best. It's that kind of
Okay.
mentality. So if
Yeah.
you're not the best, then you're not gonna make it. So
Yeah.
there's that. So that was also one of the things that I had to question myself. I asked myself, can I do this? That imposter syndrome. I don't know if you've discussed this in the past, Lynn, the concept of imposter syndrome. So it feels like some people might say, so why are you there? Why are you doing this? Are you really good at what you're doing that you do this and you share all these things? So, right. So those kind of things, are always festering in the back of my mind. And again, as you move on, the only thing that really can counter those negative thoughts, my friends, is not to think about how to counter them in your head. Work on it. It's like, what if I make a mistake? You make a mistake, like you make a mistake on video, and then you'll realize you'll survive. Oh, I survived, and it's fine, right? So, doing plans in our head, that's good, that's fine. But you really need to act on it. Just a step at a time. You don't need to do all the big things all at the same time. Just one step at a time. And you'll
So,
be
okay.
surprised. Right.
Yeah.
There you
I
go,
mean,
Lynn.
it kind of sounds, I don't know if this is a fair assessment, but it kind of
Mm-hmm.
sounds like um that your culture hasn't really influenced your style per se. It's just that it might have in the beginning early days inhibited you finding it
That's the
because
word, inhibited. Yeah.
there's yeah, because I know what you mean in the sense of feeling like you, because this is what I felt when I first started sharing as well
Mhm.
online, was um it has to be perfect to put out there for other people to see. And the problem with that is there's no such thing as perfection in anything, much less something that is an artistic creation that is subjective to taste and to, what I love, isn't empirically like everybody must love this same thing, right?
Exactly.
It's all subjective, we all have our own personal preferences. And so it feels like, if anything, it's not so much that you're being from across the. For folks who don't know, Lala is joining us from the Philippines, so being from a different culture, a different geographic location, it's a
Hmm.
matter of really the mentality and the mindset of
Yes.
what held you back a little bit in those early days. And once you got past that, you were able to create or find your style, your voice in your way of expressing yourself through your paper crafting. And
Exactly.
because when I look at your cards and your projects, I don't necessarily see like, oh, that's Asian influenced. I just see, oh, that looks like one of Lala's cards.
You know
Because it
what?
is.
You'd be surprised because the Philippines, the culture, we're really a hodgepodge of all other cultures,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Even our names, the Spanish influence. We've been under the Spanish influence, under the Spanish regime for more than 100 years, and then followed by the Japanese, and then we have the Americans, right? So, and I I kid you not, wherever you are in the world right now, there's a Filipino, right? So it's like a lot of Filipinos are all over the world, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they want to find greener pastures, so to speak, and you cannot fault them for that, right? So that's what we are all over the right? So in terms of specific, like it's basically the same, except when you really want that very very traditional, then we have to use the indigenous materials here. Mostly for Asia, it's gonna be plant based, right? Or
Mhm.
whatever you find within the seas and stuff like that. But otherwise, you'd be surprised, my friends, if you visit the Philippines and where I am from, you'd be surprised that you are very very metropolitan actually. So you won't feel as if you're out of sync in terms of it's just the weather is really gonna mess you. It's very humid, but in terms of crafting stuff and other things, it's very similar. It
Yeah.
actually can be here fast enough, but then that's gonna be expensive.
Right. Well, and I kind of feel like and this may or may not be true, so you can tell me if it feels true to you, but
Mm-hmm.
so many companies are based in Western, they're US
Mm,
based or they're
so
UK
true.
based. So you're getting like art, like when you think about like stamps, for example, it's been drawn. Well, sometimes it's been drawn from illustrators around the world, so we never
Mm-hmm.
really know. But for the most part, you're working with supplies that are from like pattern papers and whatnot that
Mm-hmm.
are from more Western sourced retailers, and so
Exactly.
there is that too that kind of makes us very globally in some ways connected and the same. So um yeah, me too, Gaz. I want to visit Lala and rate her. Seriously,
Come on over.
she doesn't just have a room. She's got like a craft store. she's got her
I have
she's
a
got her
craft
club.
house.
Yeah, she's got her craft house. It's multi-level and it's very
Guys,
um
remember, I've been hoarding and crafting for more than 4 decades, right? So there you go.
you don't look like it. You look very young, Lala. It's crazy. There were several people who commented so also in the live
Oh,
chat.
remember then I told you about the senior citizen car I experienced the other day? Oh my goodness.
um yeah, so that's fascinating to hear about your journey and about your style and how you evolved it, how you developed it over time. So now as we shift our conversation a little bit more towards design teams and your thoughts and your experience on design teams, just to give everybody a little bit of background. um, how many teams have you been on? Because it helps us to kind of keep this in the back of our heads as we hear more about your experience with design teams, and as well, how long have you been on design teams?
Right. Very perfect question, Lynn. I'm 51 years old, crafting for more than 40 years. How many design teams have I been in? Dun, 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 dun. One. Again, mindset, my friends. I always have had that negative mindset for the longest time that I will not be, good enough to be in a design team. I never tried. A lot of people locally have invited me, but I have to turn
Hmm.
it down because I was afraid. What if, I don't, I'm not, again, remember, I've like coming from a culture or a background where everybody is very critical. It's like you're under a microscope with 10x times 10x, right? So everything
Wow.
will be scrutinized in a sense that because it's like perfectionism is I think one of the things that is expected. Not perfectionism, but you have to be really, really like way up there in terms of the techniques and the capabilities. That's how I felt, and that was my mindset was right. So unless I become very close to perfection, I said I cannot become part of any. Okay, but I do have partner stores who partner with me, Lynn. So I reach out to partner stores if you do want to join me in the show, and this is what I do. So I actually pretty surprised that there are several of them who actually join, but not. I'm not considered a design team, but they are called here partner stores, right? So they give me
Okay.
very similar. Okay, so they send in products or other stuff. They support the channel in my crafty events, but not officially called a design team. So there's only one. And the reason that I actually finally jumped into joining that one, it was such a fun thing. Okay, so that time I joined World Card Making Day for the first time. and I had so much fun. And the details of how I actually came into that. I was traveling. I was like rushing. It was so much fun. It's like a movie, right? And so I had so much fun. And then of course, so I was watching, Lynn and everybody else. I've got getting to know you. And then suddenly, of course, I joined also Kendra's group already. And then an announcement came that they were actually looking for, new design team members, and this were what was needed. I said, is it now? Can I do this now? Is it because I really had so much fun with, World Card Making Day? I said, can I actually do this? And then I read you don't need to, like, I thought when you're in the design team, you won't have a life anymore. I thought
You don't have a
the
life
only thing you're
anymore.
going to do is do this, do this, do this.
Wait,
Right?
Lala, let me just quickly interrupt you for one
Okay.
second. To bring up this first off from Gaz, he says, "Shut up, 51." I thought she was in her 30s, so I want
Oh,
to
I
bring that
love
up.
you guys.
Um, but it sounds like you're starting to tell us, how you
Oh,
got into your first
sorry. We're already
design
on
team.
that
So I
one.
just want to let folks know that let's go ahead and jump right there.
Okay.
Tell us about that first experience, but also be sure to come back around and let us know
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
you decided to take that plunge. This sounds like it's going
Okay.
to be a fascinating,
Yeah. So let's tie these
fascinating
two
story.
questions together, right?
Yeah.
So again, so the why, it's like I've always had that desire. As come on, guys, right? As crafters, we always watch, or we always have this some crafter who we look up to in terms of not really like a god or something. It's like they inspire us, right? So do have a set of crafters or creators that we follow because they're so much fun, right? Either the way they do their lives or their videos or the actual a combination of both. And so I said, I want me. Can I be in the future? Just what, be like them. But then the negative self-talk is always there. No, 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 you're not gonna, no, 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 no. And then I saw this post, as I mentioned, about Kendra's card challenge looking for design team members. And so, what does it entail? Because I never looked into what do actually. So I, as I mentioned, I thought when you're part of a design team, you won't have a life anymore. Guys, I'm a solo mom. I homeschool. I have several businesses, right? I do my live streams and my channel, so it's like I do have very limited, free time, so to speak. So if this would entail becoming a DT, would entail me to do so many things that I cannot do my other functions. I cannot. So I read, oh, I think this is doable. I think this is doable. So in terms of, the deliverables that Kenja's our challenges were, expecting from a DT, I said, I think this is perfect for me, right? I think this is okay for somebody who's with this kind of crazy schedule that I have. So I submitted, never knowing that Lynn was actually the manager for that one. I didn't know. And so she, I received the message from her, oh Lala, you want to be part of it. It's like, Lynn? It's like, did I join Lynn or did I kind of start? I didn't know about design team managers. I didn't know that there was such a thing. See, guys, I really didn't know. I had zero knowledge. I do know that there are people who are part of design teams and stuff, but since I never really plunged into it, I never knew what was expected. And so that's how it started. And then Lynn, Kendra, and then the whole team, it was such a great feeling, and they welcomed me with open arms. Most of them is like people that I just follow and watch. It's like, I'm now part of the team. It was such a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And I think that was that step that I needed to start changing, okay, that negative mindset that I'm not good enough, that it's not really, you're not expected to be like a genius, character genius, to become part of a design team, but there are actual deliverables that you need to do, okay, and as long as you can do that, then you're good to go. And I'm so happy that, after my first term, that, Lynn and Kendra actually invited me over again for a next term. So, and of course, love, and enjoyed KCC, right? Kendra's Card Challenges. That, of course, I absolutely said yes. So that is
So,
my first and only DT. So if you guys are
um,
just, on the fence of joining, if Mommy Lala is able to do this, guys, everybody can. Just try.
um, so that's such a sweet story, and so I guess so. Let me see if I understand
Mhm.
correctly though. So for you, was the reason to join a design team because it felt like that was like the epitome of like where a crafter
That one,
lands,
Lynn, and it has been a long
or
time dream. It has been a long time dream. But I always felt I'm not good enough.
so you knew about design teams
I knew
before.
about design
Okay.
team period. What it entails, what it takes, how you join, stuff like that. Never really, even
Oh, okay. So you
research.
knew, but you knew that there was such a thing
Yes.
as, and so did you know before joining your first team personally? Did you know any crafters who were on design teams?
I know Helen because when I
Okay.
visited Helen, okay, 2 years ago, we crafted from like the whole. We slept at 4 a.m. And
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
were talking about, her DT. She was like, why won't you be in a DT la? You're so
Okay.
good at layering stuff. You have a good composition. No, I don't think so. Again, the negative self talk, right?
Right. Okay.
So
Okay. That's
there you
cool.
go.
So for you, it was more of a like a almost like a bucket list kind of thing to experience and to be a part of as
Yes.
an
So,
experience, not so much as yeah, like yeah, something that you can say, yeah, I did that,
yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Everybody has different reasons for joining design teams, and there's no right or wrong reason. And that's why I love having these conversations because it's really fascinating to hear what brought people to the design teams that they are on. So really, really fun. Thank you for sharing that story. And it's gonna be hard to like get into some of. Feel free to be negative, even though I am your design team manager, and we
Oh
can all
no.
point it. We can
You
all
know,
point it back to me, but.
but Lean, I'm so happy. If because again, like me, okay, I'm talking about the perspective of a newbie. Okay. Oh, one design team, right? You don't know anything. I didn't know anything. And if somebody, let's say, would tell me, okay, here are the materials, go ahead. Like as a newbie, so what? I have a million and one questions,
Well,
right? So
let's
how am I gonna
let's
supposed to do this? How to do this? But Lynn is such a great design team manager. Everything is very detailed. I never got lost. I
well
got lost
let's
for a few weeks maybe because what is this? How do you upload? How do you do this and that?
I
But
think,
she's
Lala, I think that's so sweet of you to say, and I think you're already segueing into our next question.
moving
So
forward.
just just want to make sure everybody is able to follow along.
Okay.
So um, you know, thinking back to because now you've been on the team, for a couple terms, and so but if you take yourself back to the beginning when
Mm-mm.
you first started, and for everybody listening, you, as we discovered, knew that there was such a thing as design teams, but you didn't really know the details of what was involved, even if because for some people they know what's involved just through friends telling
Mm-hmm.
them and whatnot, or through being a part of the crafty community and kind of seeing the output of what's
Mm-hmm.
involved with being on a design team. But it sounds like you didn't have a lot of that knowledge beforehand, which is my
Zero.
case too. I didn't really know either, right? So I'm not it's just to give us context so that we understand where your experiences have come from. So what surprised you the most when you first joined about, design teams?
First and foremost, it's not rocket science. Because I really, really had that thinking. It's going to be super hard. It's going to be like over the top. But then everything, there's, of course, there's a process. It's not as if you can just, do what you want and that's it. Because you are part of the team and we are representing specific, sponsors sometimes, or of course, the brand that we are part of. Okay. So, of course, there are certain things, the minimum things that at least you need to know, like how do you upload, what is expected of you. But those things, are also given to you. Okay, so like Lynn is our design team manager. So she makes sure that she even double checks, oh, Lala, wrong title. Lala, where's the link? So whenever we do things, okay, she still tries to go back to it and double check. And that is, she keeps us looking very professional and very very nice because everything is on point. So maybe you would see, oh, they all have the same look, they all have this and that, right? So those things is not something that we know immediately. All of these things will be, given to you as part of a design team. So it's not as if everything that you will do, you have to come up on your own, right? So there is that support from the team. Okay, and from the owner as well. So that's one of the things that helped me really like embrace being part of. I'm not sure, I don't know how and about being part of other design team groups because I've never been, and I don't think I will be in the future. Okay, because again, when I do something, commitment is very important, right? So if I cannot commit, again, this is me. I can If I cannot commit 100%, 101%, okay, to that thing, then I don't think I can. So, but to try out would be to another. I have one that I really want to be part of, but it's a secret.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't tell us. You don't have to tell
Yes,
us.
and if it happens, we'll see if I get the courage to be part of it. I think it's more of the time, okay, that I
Yeah.
can, if I can commit to it. So there, Lynn, that is basically. I think I answered that
I mean,
question.
it sounds like what surprised you the most is that it's not as hard as you thought it would be.
Exactly, because remember that was one that was keeping me from doing it. Right, you'd be amazed. Your teammates super, oh, I can't understand this. And then sometimes Lynn is, we are from the different time zone. Somebody can even, oh, Lala, here's the link. Or Lala, he will, oh, see, other team members also will help you out. It's not as if you're alone. It's being part of a design team does not mean that you are on your own. You are part of a team. And being part of a team is awesome.
Oh, well, I love that you that is the thing that surprised you the most, is that because I do feel like there's probably people who are out there thinking the same thing, that it's too hard. I don't know how to
Mhm.
do all the things, and it's all this big mystery. And this whole reason for me to do this podcast, for me to do this series, is to demystify design teams for folks who were like me in the beginning days. I knew nothing about design teams, and so I just kind of want to pull the covers off of that a little bit, and not only share my own experience, but to share other crafters' experiences too, so that you get full range. It's not just about what, because we're each shaped by our own experiences. We could be on the same teams and have very different experiences and different opinions about those experiences as well. So I love though that for you it just wasn't as scary as you thought it might be, and I think
Yes,
that's
that's
very
top
encouraging.
of the list. Really, it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, can I do this? Can I do this? And I think a lot of people have the same mindset. I'm sure it's not just me. I'm sure there's so many who might have the same, especially for
Yeah.
those who are not, US based.
Yeah. So I love Whim's so sweet. I'm
Have a
listening.
wake up. Okay.
Yeah, it is. This is considered a podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, feel free to just listen. It's just us talking heads today.
Mhm.
So that's fascinating, and I think you've given a lot of people encouragement as well, because for anyone else who might feel like maybe they don't know all the social, like how to do all the things on all the socials and how to, you know, hops
Yeah.
and all these
Lynn,
mysterious
just a
terms.
few, maybe a decade ago or something. I don't even know how to post on Facebook. Up to now, I'm still struggling with Instagram, guys. So,
um,
it's not as if
well,
you need to know all the things and be an expert, but at least, of course, competency in terms of how to do, social media. Obviously, you need to know at least the basics.
yeah. Well, I think that's good. A good segue into our next question, which is, what have you found to be the most challenging thing as a new design team member?
Very easy because I already know the answer. Oh my gosh. When I need to color something, right? So as
Okay.
part of, let's say, the project, oh my, definitely needs to be colored in, right? Again, I'm still overcoming. It's a work in progress. I mean, a work in progress, correct? Of me learning to embrace again coloring, because I feel because of that, perfectionism mindset,
Sure.
that if it's not perfect, it's not meant to be out there. Right? So whenever, like in the beginning when I was starting, really, I was like, "Ugh," I will not mention the company, but it was, oh my, really, needs to be cut in. I had to look for so many references and check it out. But then I realized I still saw, you know how it is when you see a work and you know that, somehow it's there's something lacking and stuff like that. And I think that was my indecisiveness and me not trusting myself, and it showed. And from then I felt really very disappointed with that work that I did, and that was part of the very first few projects that I did. And then from then on, I said, I had to kick that thinking out of my head. And then I did this 30-day challenge. And then I said, I'm going to color every day. It's not as if I want to be good at coloring. I want to be good at coloring. And then you become good at coloring. You have to do it, Lala. You have to, grab those pencils, grab those markers, grab those watercolors, grab whatever it is that needs, I have all of them, but I don't use them. They're decorations, right? So use it. And I started using them. And then Lynn came up with a coloring class with Meg. And, that even helped me further. Right. So, but for me, the most difficult one was, that part where I really need. I think I'm fairly, very comfortable with creating, all the other things. Guys, 40 years of crafting. I know I can do a lot of things. It's just really, you trusting yourself that you can do this, come out with it, and be okay with that. That was what's keeping me from doing it. But except for the coloring. And that one, I'm a work in progress, my friends. And I think you would see the difference. Go back. And then from what I do right now. But it's not perfect. It's not saying I'm good at it now. It's I love it. I am like me, I'm happy with it, right, with what I am going through right now. So for me, it was that one. Maybe as Lynn is mentioning earlier on, we do have different struggles, right? So for me, it's coloring. Maybe you're so good at coloring, so that is not an issue for you. Maybe it's the
So
tech, right? So
what it's
whatever it
sounding
is.
like what it's sounding like to me, Lala, is
Mm-hmm.
that in terms of being on the design team and challenges that one might face, is the design brief of what you need to or have to work
Mhm.
with. So it sounds like you were given products that to show in their best light would require
Mhm.
you to maybe exercise a skill that is still in development.
Yes.
And so that has been your greatest challenge because for folks who don't know, there are a lot of different design teams and requirements for what you can and cannot work with. And design teams that are more like challenge blogs that are
Mhm.
themed like the coffee lovers or build your stash Christmas holiday stash cards, things like that. A lot of those challenges and a lot of those teams, like Sheetload as well, or Oso Inspired, they're you can use whatever you like, and you can
Mhm.
very easily stay within your own comfort zone. But when you are on a team that provides you products that you have to use and showcase, it's sounding like for you that's been the biggest challenge is maybe working with things that
Not comfortable with.
you're not comfortable with. Yeah.
Mhm.
So and it kind of sounds like you just worked through it. Maybe did some, I mean, like, tell us about that. Like, did you
Okay.
try to use it like the way that you would use it to, or did you just try to get better at coloring? I mean, it kind of sounds like you tried to get better
It,
at coloring.
it's already up there, right? I cannot like change it and pull it down because it's part of a hop, right? But then, you really need to be, you need to give yourself grace. Even the best of the best in our community, they do have downtimes as well, right? So it's just so happened that, of course, that was my one of my very first, and I really wanted to, it's like I know I can do better. At the back of my mind, I kept on saying, I know I could have done better. I could have done better, but you just have to let that go, right? Learn from it. Okay, learn from it. If you know that there is gonna be, something in that, as Lynn said, the design brief that you may be uncomfortable. Anyway, we sometimes, most of the time, right? For us anyway, okay, for Canvas Card Challenge, we do or are given, option to choose, right? So what product or which we want to, okay, but sometimes not, okay, not often. So there are, flexibilities like that. But then when you are given something that you're not very comfortable with, look at it in a different perspective. You will learn from it. But of course, do take the time, do diligence, do, diligent work ahead of schedule. They do give us, it's not as if, okay, tomorrow this is going to be no. It's part of the design team. That's why I said, okay, this is great, because I'm a very busy solo parent, right? I do have my own businesses, I homeschool and all of these things, right? So I need time, ample time, and they gave us ample time to prepare for that. And I learned that, okay, so, oh, I'm going to do this and okay, and then I start, designing. Okay, what can I do with this time? Of course, you also want to, showcase the best that you can. So I'm gonna think if this is gonna be this, that, but the technique I'm gonna use, and if there is something that I'm not comfortable with, I will practice, right?
Mm.
I will make mock-ups. Not good. Try another one, right? But again, it's not perfectionism. I just want to, make sure that that is very clear. It's not about perfectionism. As long as you feel, the reason I was very, sad about that first thing, Lynn, is because I knew I didn't put in my 100%
You
because
know,
fear and anxiety took over.
it's so funny that you say that because I'm hearing you talk about it. It must be from KCC, but I have no earthly idea which project you're talking about. So I
Oh,
do feel like a lot of what you're saying is very, like, it's very much your own internal, and that's been kind of the whole, I would say, like an overarching takeaway for us, or at least for me in talking to you is The whole idea of sometimes we are the ones who get in our own ways the most. We
Mm-hmm.
are,
Worst critic.
sometimes our worst critic when really we should be our own number one fan.
Yeah.
And because yeah, the whole time you're talking about, I'm like, what project is Lala talking about? I have
I'll
no
message
idea which.
you later.
Yeah, you can tell me after the stream, but I just want you to know that because being the design team manager on the team that you're probably referring to, I clearly did not have that perception of your project. And I don't even remember thinking anything like that at the time either. Even if I couldn't like remember the project now, I would probably remember at least thinking something at the time. And I don't even remember having that thought.
Oh.
So I do feel like a lot of what you're describing, many of us, myself included, have felt. But since you have the opportunity to talk to me on the other side of that, like I just want you to know, that did not come across. It did not, like, no,
Oh,
there's
thank
not been a
you.
time when I've seen your work and it has not like looked like it was 100%, your best.
Oh, thank you.
So I love that you
Right.
shared that, but I wanted to
Yeah.
like give you that feedback in return too,
Thank
because
you. Oh,
really,
one thing more, Lynn. Okay, because
mhm,
I'm looking at the scrolling question. Most challenging thing also. Remember, this is my first time to be a part of a design team, and I'm sharing this so for the incoming first timers, right? Of course, there's the part where how do they do this hops? How do they do all these things? I was so new to it, guys. I was like, Lynn would say, okay, guys, it's very detailed already. I tell you, very detailed. And I still get lost. I cannot find it. I cannot attach. I cannot do this and that. Lynn would even give us like screenshot. Give me anyway, screenshot. Because I really cannot understand. It's like when you go here, do this. Ah, so where is this one? Right? So that took a while. But as with me, my learning my learning style is sometimes it takes me a while to understand, to wrap my mind around something that's new. But when I actually find it, I'm good to go. But so if you are going to be part of a design team, don't the lesson learned is don't be afraid to ask, right? So the team
oh yeah,
manager, your teammates, they're there to help. So in the beginning, I didn't want to ask because I've been asking so many questions. Because it's my first time, right? Most of them are like although it's their first time probably for the group, but they are design team members for others, right? So it's not as hard for them as it was for me. Okay. But again, having a great design team manager and owner made it really, really, easy to adjust. Again, that was for me the most challenging was the behind the scenes in terms of how things work because I've never been part of a design team. But when you understand the flow of how things are done, then it's really easy. It's not very,
um,
very easy, right? But it's doable. There you go.
yeah. And I do love this comment from Jana. She says, we grow from our uncomfortableness, which is kind of going back to what you said in terms of, having to color when you feel like that's not your strongest
Mhm.
suit as a crafter. And so it is nice that you didn't let that kind of like stop you from trying your best and doing your best and still making
Mhm.
it your own, all the while. And to something that you said earlier, I also really love the fact that you said that sometimes you'll just try out different ideas and
Mhm.
kind of do a little mock up. Or 'cause I feel like sometimes like um we all have a different process in how like the blank card base all of a sudden has a lot of beautiful stuff on top of it. And for those of us who make videos, even though we are showing you the process, there's probably stuff that you didn't see that was part of the process. Like some people sketch out their cards beforehand. Some people do like a little prototype beforehand. Some people like do the whole video as a practice run beforehand. And so that gives people the impression sometimes that it's that easy, and that, oh, we just sat down, we turned the camera on, and we just went, we just did the thing. That's not always the case, and it's
Yeah.
okay if that's not the case for you. It's okay if
Mhm.
like you have to try out a couple different ideas before you stumble upon something that you feel represents you, and in the case of being on a design team, represents the company or the brand or the product
Mm-mm.
that you are trying to showcase, because at the end of the day, that is the job of a design team, is to promote and to help, you know to put it bluntly, sell product, because that's it's really what it's about, right? For the company anyway, for the brands. So I do love that you mentioned that that was kind of one of your ways of kind of working through having to work with something that maybe isn't your strongest suit.
Mhm.
So love that you're getting a lot of congrats also in the chat.
Thank
So
you, my friends. You all helped me through it. When I really learned how to relax and just be not too very critical of myself, that's where the learning process actually even became better. And your love for crafting, I think one of the reasons also is that I didn't want to be part of any design team, Lynn, is I didn't want to lose the joy that crafting
mm,
brings to my life, because I don't want it to become a stress, a source of stress in my life. I want crafting to be, my fun avenue, right? So when life just gets so hard, of course, prayer and my crafting always, redirects me to, a happy place as well. And I thought that being part of a design team might curtail that. Again, you also need to pace yourself, right? So because I feel the rush, right? When you're part of a design team, it's like, oh, this is so much fun. I want to add more, 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 more. But then again, think of your schedule, my friend. Because
yeah.
maybe I think if you have more than what you can chew, something like that, right? The saying, then it becomes a burden, right? But if you're just pacing yourself enough in a sense that you can still have your me time or crafting whatever you want, and at the same time be part of the team and be a great contributor to the team and the brands that you're representing, then you'll find it's so much fun. And I hope that that happiness and joy that I have exudes on camera right now, because I'm really having so much fun with KCC. Absolutely
Awesome.
having.
I love this from Jeremy. He says, the videos where you're making things, anything really, on the fly are much harder to do than people think. And that's absolutely true. And I love, thank you so much for saying this, because I I've done, for folks who don't know, if you're just discovering me, I have Crafty Fun with Friends every Saturday as a live stream, and that is very off the cuff, just for fun, hanging out, live
Mm-hmm.
stream crafting. But when I do like a live workshop, though, and I'm trying to teach an actual thing, an actual
Mm-hmm.
project, there's way more that goes into that, as Jeremy said. It feels like it's very off the cuff. It feels like it's very like, oh, she's just doing it, and but it does take a lot more planning, to especially if you're doing it
Mm-hmm.
live, not just recording it
Yes.
live in real time, but if you're doing it live, you have to allow for if something happens that's an oopsie. And so you actually, well, the way I do my live classes is I have backups. So if I
Mm-hmm.
make an oopsie on a step, I have that already done, so
That's
that
why I became, PhD paper surgery.
right. So, but the thing is that, I think Jeremy's point, a larger point is that whether it's live or not, it always looks easier on camera than it really is. So if you're watching a video, if you're watching a live stream, and it makes you feel intimidated that, boy, they make it look so easy. It's never that easy when I sit down to craft. Don't we're making videos because we have to keep them short. So, we can't show you, like, I speed up my videos like 8 to 10 times.
Yeah, we
So,
all do.
you know, yeah. So, don't let that make you feel intimidated. If that is something that worries you about being a part of a team, because it feels like it's very official to be on a design team, but
Mhm.
and very like professional, but it's a lot of it's just, I don't want to say smoke and mirrors, but
Mhm.
videos are, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make it look like it's as effortless as sometimes it might seem, um but you don't have to be a video content creator to be on a design team. There's lots of
Mhm.
different design teams that don't require that. And big thank you to Cynthia. She says DT coordinators, design team coordinators are not appreciated enough. Um, the support they give each DT member is key to the DT member's success. And
Absolutely. 100%.
mhm,
101% agree.
that's so sweet of you to say. I do feel very appreciated, and but it's always nice to no, it's always nice to hear. So thank you for putting that out there. Don has a question. I will answer this because I have been posting, or my bot has been posting links to the mystery box, because
Hmm.
Lala is one of the many fabulous designers and crafty friends of mine who is teaching at my upcoming masterclass series, Easy Holiday Crafting. And the mystery boxes through the website, I don't think it will let you actually order international, because I can only do like a flat rate shipping to the US to kind of balance things out. However, I'm willing to ship to the US if you are okay with me pricing exact shipping to you.
Mhm.
So if you are interested in ordering and having it delivered outside of the US, just message me directly, and then I can put your address in and get precise shipping, because I don't want to severely overcharge anybody or severely undercharge. I'd have to make up that difference myself. But I'm more than happy to put in a custom order for you once we agree if shipping is reasonable for you. So thank you for the question, and I hope Don, that answers your question. Um, and so, thank you for sharing that, Lala. I know sometimes it can be hard to kind of share our struggles, kind of, to put it out there. Um, but I think it's always helpful to hear from especially the new designer perspective, because everybody's been there. Everybody was new at one time or another. So I do feel like hopefully we are helping anyone who's new and thinking about joining design teams,
Yeah.
and you know we've
I
all
hope
been
you
there.
don't they don't take 40 years like me plus years before they join. If it's something that you want, okay? I think that's another thing, Lynn. If friends or family are pushing you to be part of it, be part of it, join. Don't. Eh, It has to be something that you want to do yourself. Because the commitment is not going to come from them, it's going to come from you, right? So check also your competencies, right? So sometimes just because you want to become part of it, check what they are looking for, what is required of you. And if you have a check on all those, then go ahead and do so, my friend. Go, right? But if then there is something there that you cannot commit to, then I highly suggest don't do it just yet. Wait until you feel that you have all those things checked that they are looking for, and it's something that you yourself want to do.
um,
Right.
that's that's really, really good advice, and that's going to segue into our next and final topic. But I love this from Cynthia because I've never managed a team that Cynthia's been on, and yet she knows.
She knows, right?
And yet she knows me, so because I organize other things, and she knows those things are months in advance. So, um, yeah, and I do feel like it is always if you're gonna join a team because it isn't. I like that you said that because it may not be for everybody, and I know too. Judy's point earlier, that's a lot of times design teams are kind of seen as well, you've really made it as a designer, as a creator when you're on a team, but the reality is that there's a lot of ways to be a part of the crafty community and it doesn't always have to culminate. It's not like it's not a summit that you have to reach in terms,
Exactly.
like in terms of your crafty career, like your trajectory, your journey as a crafter.
Mm-hmm.
A design team, it doesn't even have to be like a stop on that journey. You can
Yes.
just you can do it for all the right reasons, whatever they happen to be. And it's just that if you are interested, it's nice to kind of hear how other people got started in it and what their experience is, especially from a new uh design team person, like somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
new to design teams. It's great to hear that as well. So really, really love that. And so as we I think there's going to be just like a couple more questions here, but speaking of, design team managers and what advice, what
Mm-hmm.
requests would you like in terms of, how can a design team manager make it easier for somebody who is new? Because I know, like you said, you had a lot of questions at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you and this might feel awkward considering
Yes, you're
I'm
my
your
DT
I'm
manager.
your DT manager. But to be honest, like I welcome anyone who's on a team that I manage to give me feedback because it only helps. It doesn't just help me. It doesn't just help you. It helps everybody else that I will ever manage as part of a team, and it will help the team as a whole. So feedback is not, as long as it's constructive,
Mm-hmm.
um it's not a negative thing. We all well, I'm very open to it. I'll just speak for myself. I'm very open to the feedback. So please be honest because
Okay.
it's been a while now for me
Mm-mm.
from my first experience. And here's the other thing. Just to give you time to think, Lala. The other thing I will say about this is that everybody takes in information differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Lala was saying, you know, I might have put information all in one place, all out there, but then I throw it like spaghetti at a wall and then you have to catch it. Not everybody manages that way, and not for a lot of people that might be overwhelming and not as useful as what I might perceive it to be. That's not to say I'm doing it wrong. It's not to say that if you told me that that didn't work for you, that I would feel hurt or offended by it. And that's because we all learn differently. We all take information in differently. And that I just, because I take in information one way, that's how I structure, what I provide to others. And
Mm-hmm.
so I only know what I know. So I need to hear the feedback from any of you out there who are on teams that I manage, don't be shy about giving me that feedback because I don't know what it's like to take information in the way that you take information in, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what will make your life easier. So the only way for me to know that is for you to share it with me.
Mm-hmm.
So be honest. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Just be nice
Okay.
about it. Be nice about it, but be honest.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, Lynn, so I was so surprised when I, applied to become part of Candace Card Challenge DT team when they did that, posting. That Lynn messaged me. I said, why was Lynn messaging me? I didn't know about design team managers and all of those things, right? So eventually I realized that Lynn was our design team manager. And as a newbie, you would love to have somebody like Lynn as a manager. So again, this is my first DT foray, right? So I don't know how other team managers do it, but maybe what I can share is what are the things that I find, that others might be able to learn. I don't know again how they do it, but number one, there's several, okay? Number one, Lynn is very organized. And when you're handling a team as big as ours, so maybe more than like 15, 16 of us, right? So from all over the world, right? Different time zones and all. You have to be very organized and disciplined. And Lynn is that. It's not as and she gives out information ahead of time. Sometimes I will forget it because it was given so ahead of time, guys. So as a design team member, you really don't have an excuse to say, I wasn't informed because you have been informed, guys. And there will be many ways for you to get the notifications, right? So again, that helped because for somebody like me who's sometimes scatterbrain, I will forget, right? So I really appreciate that with Lynn. And another thing, DT managers, I don't know if they do this, but Lynn double checks not our videos, right? So that one is really on us, right? But even the video, because can I say that, Lynn? Okay, one time I was going to be very busy. So we call this batch production. So I did like 4 videos in one day. And the last video that I created, I forgot to change the name of the super sponsor. And so it was already out there. The hop was there. And then Lynn messaged me, La, the sponsor name is wrong. Oh, in what frame? The whole one. The whole video. I said, oh my gosh, I had to pull that. What if? What if? And I think it was just, we were up for just a few hours, not even a day. And Lynn saw that. So what if she didn't, double check? I would have been in big trouble, right? It was super embarrassing for our sponsors to see that, right? That it was a different sponsor. The name of, the banner underneath is a different sponsor. So I really, really appreciate that Lynn, does those kind of things for us. I think it's, goes beyond, okay, what is required of them. But, for somebody, because she knows she's part of the team and she's our DT, she double checks, okay, eventually. But see, even that one, but the very basics of, is your link correct, right? So she gets I think notifications on that one, so she's able to check who is not there, what's missing and stuff like that. So as a DT manager, I feel that this is very important because the other team members, being the manager, looks up to you, okay, in terms, especially if there's somebody like me who is a newbie, right? So of course we want to feel, to show that we can do this, but the fact is you don't know what you're doing because you're a newbie. So at the end, as much as you would want to private message them, of course they also have their life. So as much as possible, keep your communications within the group so that the design team manager can also have their own life, right? So but that, I was so afraid because I've been asking so many questions because most of the team are already seasoned design team members, right? But then how will you grow, right? So as a design team, part of the design team member, do not be afraid to ask because you might get in trouble or you might get the whole team in trouble if you say something wrong or you do something wrong. So, have that open communication. There you go. Open communication with your DT. If there's something really sensitive that you feel you cannot put out in the group for whatever reason, there's always the option to message them. But the thing is, you know, having that open communication as well to the design team members, being the design team manager, would also be a great, a great thing to have. And of course, people learn differently. There are different learners. I'm a teacher. I'm part of the educate. I educate. Younger kids and at college and stuff. People learn differently. So some are visual, some are auditory, some are kinesthetic. So if sometimes when things are presented to to students or to people, they may perceive it differently. In my case, so I'm very visual. And Lynn eventually learned that I am a visual learner. So she would, do screenshots, like step by step screenshots in the beginning. And maybe for other design team managers, you can have that, if you can have that option as well. So, you have something like PDF where it's just words and instructions. And probably if it's for newbie, right? New design team members, maybe a visual one can be provided because that really helped me. And Lynn provided that for us. So again, I am coming from the perspective of a first time DT member. So I don't know how other design team managers do it, but I'm very blessed to have Lynn. She's not perfect, okay? But she's very open to criticism. Guys, tell me, is this okay? Is she's not as if she lords over us being the design team manager? No, right? But she does have a role to do, and we all know that. Right, so we all got within the place. Okay, guys, okay, those who are going to be hopping on this, okay, make sure you have this and that. So she does her job really well, and that makes the design team, the whole team, look really really professional and good. You don't know, guys, without Lynn, we'll be probably all over the place. So a
Well, that's
design team
so
manager is very important.
that's so sweet of you to say, and I think that I think that the thing that I often forget is how new some things are to people, and the I mean, because you've been, I think, on KCC through different change, it we I evolve how I manage the
Mm.
team
And it's great.
to
It gets better.
right, and the only
Mhm.
reason that gets better, like, certain of our processes have changed and evolved from turn to term, because that's sometimes what is required, and so it's really great to get your feedback in terms of what works and what doesn't work. And what I love that you said, and I hope everybody who is on the design team and is watching, is that if you are uh, put shortly, ask the questions. And also, if you're ever confused, ask the questions. It really doesn't matter to me, honestly, like what day or time you message me. I don't really care. I'd rather that you ask and we get it sorted fast, you know, like, than to do the last minute to struggle and be frustrated.
Mhm.
um I always really appreciate when people make an attempt at finding the information first or trying it, but I don't want you to hit your head against a wall, trying to figure something out when I can't answer you. If you've made a serious attempt at it, like, it's,
Mhm.
I don't mind, finding a way to best communicate to you, anyone, not you specifically, Lala, um, how to do something. And if screenshots are the way to best communicate that, then that's what I will do. But don't, for anyone who's on a design team, don't feel like, oh, the owner's so busy and the manager's so busy. Like, all of our time is equally valued. Our time is like no more precious, than your time. So don't spend 2 hours of your time. Spend 10 minutes of your time. If you can't figure it out and I can help you, then ask me and I will help you. I will be honest, I do get frustrated when people clearly, haven't read something and haven't bothered to look. That's my own flaw. Like, that is I will own that flaw as a person because, like Lala said, I'm not perfect. No one
Mhm.
is. But that is a pet peeve of mine, so I'll let you all know that right now. Like, and folks who have ever been on a time with me and have ever seen me screenshot something I've said previously as a response to a question, I think you all know that about me as well. So I'm not sharing anything that the designers who've ever worked with me don't already know. But I say it to say that I know that's a flaw of mine, and one that I'm trying to work on is to be more patient. Um, but because I do truly believe that all of our time is equally valuable. My time is no more precious or valuable than your time. So I think communication is key, as a lot of folks
Mhm.
have said in the chat. So so I do love Jana's note here. She says, on the other side of all the good parts, be
Mhm.
prepared for the no, and don't internalize the rejection. It just wasn't your
True.
time. And I think, as a follow up, I think, as we've all been here, where we put ourselves out there, we apply to teams, and sometimes you can kind of understand, yeah, that was a bit of a stretch for me. I kind of get why they didn't pick me. And then sometimes you feel like, man, I thought I was perfect for that team. And I'll just say, because it's a little bit of a derail, but I'll just say that there are a lot of things that a design team owner, and as a manager, just to demystify, I don't make those decisions, okay, folks? So don't. Whether you are on a team or not, like, for the teams I manage, I'm not making that call. It's always I might have some influence. I will say I get to express an opinion, but at the end of the day, it's the owner who makes the
Mm.
call, right? And that's their decision. I am in a fortunate position where I get to, you know, put my 2 cents in. but um but there's a lot of things that have to get weighed, a lot of things that I'm not even privy to knowing about. So you just never know. You might feel like it's perfect for you, but it just might not be so perfect at that time. Like Jana was saying, they might have a very specific
Mhm.
thing that they're looking for, or designer, or skill, or a talent that they're looking for, um and they're just not saying it, right? But that's what
Mhm.
they're looking for, and we just don't know. So don't be
And
disheartened.
yes, and I think another from what you mentioned, then I think one, if you want to become part of a DT, I think that having a little bit of a thicker skin, you have to embrace or have that, right? Actually, the minute you become part of any form of social media, right? YouTube, Facebook, there will always be people who will not like you for whatever. Maybe the way I look, the way I talk, the way I sound. It's not specifically just about your project. So be very know that it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. There will always be negative comments. There will always be people who will not like your project or you, for whatever it is. On my side, I even asked my kids permission before I did this. As a solo parent and sole responsible for my kids, I know that I studied this before I went into this, that there will always be people who will not like you and may say bad things about you. So I have to talk to them. Can mommy do this? Will it be okay? Sometimes you might be in the future read something that might be bad. Okay, and don't feel sad about it because we know what's the truth. And if this is okay, can I do this? And they said yes. And they're very supportive. And for those who have actually been watching my live streams, you know that my moderator is actually my daughter, right? So again, that it's very important because if you struggle with negative comments and you feel that you cannot take that, think twice because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It is
Yeah.
going to come, my friends.
Yeah. We have a whole other Lala and I have talked about doing a whole live stream on just that topic.
Mhm.
So we really need to get that one on the books.
Yeah.
I want to answer some quick questions though. Judy, yes,
Yes.
you can get a mystery box. We are not sold out. And if you
Yes.
are so inclined to get one, please use Lala's affiliate link so that she gets a bit of a commission from that. But I love the some of the conversation that's been going on in the chat. So I want to bring that
Mhm.
up. And Miss Judy B says, I realize that design team leaders get busy, but they need to
Mhm.
respect those of us who may be just wondering at all. I can see where it would be very stressful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it goes two ways, right? I think we just all need to have mutual respect for each other's time and understanding and give grace to us all because we're all like Lala said, we're part of a team, and when we operate well as a team, then everybody looks
Mhm.
better, right? Um, and then to this point, I love that Sarah said that the whole idea of applying to teams and maybe not always getting a response. So she knows.
Yeah.
I know some companies don't respond to every application if you're not chosen. But I get paranoid. I didn't send my application correctly, or it didn't go through. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
she says, I always wonder if it's rude to reach out to see if they need more information if I haven't heard anything. Um, I I I know exactly your feeling on that, and it is very, very true that some teams just get inundated with
Mhm.
applications, and it's really, you might think it's, I know like there was a comment that it's nice to at least say,
Yeah.
sorry you weren't chosen. It's being on both sides of a DT call. I
Mhm.
can kind of understand how hard it is to even bulk send mass BCC email to people saying
Mm.
sorry. And I agree with you. It's a courtesy that everybody is due. I just have an understanding of how hard that can be
Mhm.
to do that when you're trying to spin something, because remember they're like onboarding new people,
Mm.
and so like you're trying to make sure that all the new people are taken care
Mm.
of as they
And
are.
if they had somebody like me in the beginning answering questions.
Well, everybody's new. Everybody, like whether you're new to design teams at period, or just new to that design team, because every design team operates differently. And I'm the same individual who manages multiple teams, but I manage each of them differently. The process is, if you're on multiple teams with me, you'll know like what tools we use to manage our communications, our team, our blah blah blah. It's all different because different things work for different company owners, different things work for different teams,
Mhm.
and every team's needs are different, and so I manage them differently. So you might be on like 3 teams that I manage, and you'll find I operate them very differently from each other. So like it's everything's kind of hard, but it's to say that I've been on that side where I've wondered, did they actually, like, did they get it? Like, did I hit send? Did I hit submit? Because you just never hear back, right? And
Mhm.
so Sarah, to answer your question, I don't think it would be rude if you followed up and you said,
Mhm.
I just want to double check that my application went through okay. Let me know if, especially if it's something that you really, really have your heart set on and you really want to make sure that you did everything right. And so there's nothing wrong with following up and just seeing if they got it. I've never applied to be part of a DT. This is so enlightening and helpful. If I decide, yeah, I'm glad because that is, that is the whole reason that I have this series and that I want to open this whole world, this whole process up to everybody. So as we start to wind down, folks, if you have more questions, do take this as your final warning to get your questions in the live chat because this is our last planned question in our
Mm-hmm.
interview. And Lala, you've already given us so much good
Mm-mm.
advice, but if you were to pick your number one advice for anyone who is thinking about joining a design team, whether they've ever been on one before or not, what would, but maybe perhaps especially if they've never been on one,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your number one advice?
Can you tie it all up into several into one? All right. 'Cause it's so hard, just one. All right. So first and foremost, make sure you really want to do it. If you're hard-hearted about being, applying for it and being part of it, don't do it. Because the owners or the team or they what do you call this? They deserve 100% of your commitment. So if you cannot do that, then don't. Number two, I know she said only number one. Okay, I will overrun you today. Check your competencies, my friends, also in your time. Okay, if at this point maybe, um, if it's a company where you're expected to do this and that probably it's not something that you can really do at this point, try to better yourself at it and then try again, right? But if it's something, so again, and time, maybe you want to, but at this point in or season in your life, you just have so many things going on, right? So check all those things: competencies, time, and make sure that you are 100% committed to becoming part of it.
So when you say check your competencies, what do you mean by that? Like specifically? What competency? What do we need to
Competencies,
be competent at
okay,
to be on a
competencies at
design
least
team?
because remember you're a part of a design team. It's not as if yes, we love that they embrace. It's not as if you have to be perfect, but at least you need to be able to know specific things, right? Because you are gonna be, although they give you ample time to prepare, okay, it's not they're gonna teach you what to do. Right, you are expected that the basics at least, right?
Of
So
what?
because
The
it's
basics of
the
what?
basics of card making, if you're go joining a card making company or a crafting company, so and you check out their products, are these products that somehow you can create something out of? Because if it's there will be a lot of DIY stuff and you're not, you haven't done so much of that yet in the future, because you have very limited time to prepare. Okay, you have time to prepare, but it's not like unlimited time. You do have a deadline. So if you're just going to start learning all about it, then maybe this is not the perfect time yet for you. So when I talk of competencies, it's that it's not about you being perfect, you being the best in the community. It's like if a million they're number 10, top 10 of that one. No, just make sure that when they give you something that will be part of the design, part of the or the hop or whatever project, that you can do it, right? That you are able to do it. And if because if you are able to do that, will lessen the burden on your part, that will lessen the fear, the anxiety as well. So being part of the design team will be fun. It's not gonna be a burden, right? Because if it becomes a burden, it would also show, I believe it would also show
Yeah.
in your outputs, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not happy with the output, right? So those three: competencies, time, and you really are committed to it.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's fabulous advice. I agree with all of that 100%. So just I want to address this also from Judy. She says, I'm not even sure what all the requirements are to apply for being on a design team. And I think that's a really good question. So for folks who don't know, I run a Facebook group called Design Team 101, And if you're not on a design team, I guess I should always be prepared with links. So I don't have it. I'm gonna grab it. But
Yeah, there's a
the
million and one links, but Lynn can
I
find it.
know. So
I can find it.
the whole idea though behind um the group, this podcast, this live stream is that I want to help other designers, do what they do best. And if that means being on or getting onto a design team, that's why I have a DT 101 podcast. I have very few, but some videos on how to do certain things like watermarking your projects and stuff like that, which are among the things that maybe you don't do as a casual crafter, but when you
Oh yeah.
um, join a team, then you're expected to do certain things like, use, like Lala said, just to make it all look cohesive and part of a
Mhm.
team and, recognizable as a team. So stuff like watermarking and using common language on things and stuff like that. So I welcome everybody to, if you want to be a part of a supportive community, like Lala said, to connect to other designers who might be equally interested and equally, mystified by the world of design teams. Join us over in this Facebook group. It's on the screen now for folks who are watching on Instagram, and it's in the live chat for folks who are watching from YouTube. And so you can, feel free to use that community as a resource. It's, designers of 20 some odd years experience being on design teams and designers who are brand new to it, or have never been on it. So definitely use that as a resource. And also, more specifically, Judy, to your question about how do you get on one, what does it mean, what's
Mhm.
required. I actually put up a poll in that group and on my community channel, my community tab on my channel, as to whether people are interested in me live streaming about how to find design team calls and apply to design team calls. And um, if you're interested, find one of my polls and let me know, because I will carve out the time to do that live stream so that folks can ask questions. It's this time of year is sort of design team call season because a lot of companies are looking to start recruit for their 2025 year. And so you're going to see a lot of design team calls if you haven't already seen them. If you don't know where to look, that's one of the things that I'm going to cover if there's enough
Yay!
interest. So find one of those polls, vote in it to let me know. I have a number in my mind if there's enough people, enough people, because I think it's an interesting topic. It's one I would have appreciated when I first started.
Absolutely.
And so I am very busy. It won't happen this week for sure, but it might
Yes,
happen next week.
because
Um
something exciting is happening this
yeah,
week.
exactly. This coming, I should say, yeah, this week that's gonna start tomorrow.
Tomorrow for you guys, and it's already started for me.
It's a yeah. Um, so that's a long answer to your very simple question. So, all right. So, thank you for spending this time with us, Lala, and let's wrap things up with. We've had a chance to kind of learn about your crafty journey and how you got to where you're at now. But let us know what is on the horizon for you. What's coming up? Are you doing another in-person retreat like you did at was it Boracay? Is that right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
it's in
like yeah, tell
Boracay.
us
Yeah. Okay.
what else coming up, what should we be on the lookout for from you?
All right. So again, first and foremost, thank you so much, Lynn. I've grown leaps and bounds in terms of, the creative process, being part of a DT team. It has always been part of my dream, but I've always kicked it, out of, perspective because I had so many negative thoughts and wrong mindset about this. So for those who probably are interested, maybe it's also one of your, things, bucket list, right? So hopefully this, live stream has inspired you all to try it out, especially for those who are on the fence of joining one. So in the very, very near future, speaking of several hours from now, yes, I'm proud to be part of the Easy Holiday Crafting Masterclass. It's a masterclass that has been uh, thought of by Lynn of LV Handcrafted. And yes, it's not yet late for you guys to actually join us. Yes, this is actually a paid masterclass, although we have two free classes. So the first one's going to be by Meg. And of course, the last one is going to be by, okay, our dear friend Gaz there in the chat. So I'm going to be part of one of the paid classes, and mine is going to be about holiday album crafting. Right. So I know, right? Holidays, very busy, no time, no nothing. You even want to just go away from social media and all these things during the holidays and just spend it with family. But the thing that I'm going to be teaching in this class is how you can actually curate those holiday memories. A lot of wonderful things happen during the holidays, right? So you get to travel, you get to have family reunions, family bondings, and so many other things. But have you really kept those memories into a physical output, let's say a digital album or a physical one? Maybe not. Because the answer is you don't have time. It's so hard to prepare. So this class will help you out from the onset, from the preparation, the reason behind why you actually need to create one. How do you prepare for it? Yes, you can prepare for it. It's only October, but by the end of this class, which you can actually watch on your own pacing, right, Lynn? I tell you, you'll be able to come up with your very first holiday album months in advance. So that when the holiday comes in, all you need to do is just put in the photos and then do a little bit of. And if you can't do that during the actual December because of that, you can always make it in January. There's a lot of people who does this. They finish it June of the next year, but they are able to finish because they already have the foundations. So everything you will need, guys. And I even have freebies in this class, Green Light. So we are giving you, I don't know up to when we can give out the freebies. Lynn would probably know more
It's
about that one.
forever.
Oh,
It's
forever. There you
forever.
go. So, yes, if you take my class, so the freebies, I have digital images. I even have PDF for that you can cut and paste into your preparations. Everything. It's not just my class. Everybody in that is part of this Easy Holiday Masterclass, we have really prepared and made this so simple for you because we know, being a crafter, you want to do all the handmade stuff, right? Handmade cards, handmade gifts, because we're crafters. The holidays is the perfect time to showcase, the thing that we love the most, but then time. And so, with this class, this Easy Holiday Crafting Masterclass, will give you all the tools that you need ahead of time. And you can always go back to with this. You can do this every year. It doesn't have an expiration date because that is the intent of this class. So
Yeah.
Lynn really specifically wanted this class to be evergreen. So evergreen. Evergreen means it's always relevant, right? So buying this class, it's like a forever investment. So I do hope that you can join us. You still have time to actually buy that, be registered to these classes. It starts tomorrow. So 21 to the 27th. Every class, the first, right? The first, it will go live, Lynn. Come on. Am I making the right
Yeah, do you want me to
words?
take over?
Yes. Okay. I made a
you're doing
mistake.
so you're doing
Yes.
so good. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was ready.
Yes, but with that one, okay, Lynn has a better way to actually state that. So that is the one that's coming up pretty soon. So I'll turn you over to Lynn in a bit. And then after that, of course, I do have my regular crafty sessions, Wednesdays and Saturday nights, Philippine time, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. It depends, 8 or 9 p.m. So that's morning time for you guys. So 12, 13 hour difference. So, and of course, yes, in February, I'm going to have my annual craft getaway. So if you
That's
can
so
join us
awesome.
face to face, that would be awesome. But if you can't, they always have that virtual option.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much, Lynn. And now I take you over to Lynn on how you can actually join us tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so friends, pop on over to my website, and here's wherever you are joining from, start with this link, because whatever your intent is, whether you intend to purchase the mystery box or not, if you use this code, it saves a cookie that says that Lala's link brought you to my website, and that way she gets a commission if you choose to purchase, which you
Mhm.
don't have to. But let's get some money in Lala's pockets, because I didn't pay any of the instructors. I've been upfront about that.
Yes.
When master classes take off, and if they are a thing that people feel is as valuable as I feel all of our instructors have provided, then I will upfront compensate my instructors. But um, so that's where you can start, and that takes you to the mystery box. But from there, what you'll find is this is Lala's class specifically. Every class has a course page that will tell you what you're going to learn. Look at all, like, oh my gosh, look at how much Lala has packed into this class. You're gonna find her class is actually over, or very nearly, 4 hours of instruction, folks. So when I tell you that there's value in these classes, it's because it's not your standard 20-minute, 15-minute, even
Mhm.
30-minute video here on YouTube. These classes are filmed in real time, so that the instructors have a chance to really dive deep into and taking their time to show you, not just, how do you do a particular thing, but giving you all those tips and tricks. And that way, it is a masterclass, not because we intend for everybody to be like a master crafter after this, or not even because we think of ourselves that way. It's so that we can all learn from each other, and that we can
Mhm.
all help each other perfect our craft. Um, and become better crafters as a whole. So all of the classes are here, and Lala's very specifically. If you are interested in hers, let me go ahead and paste this. But I just don't want to. I don't have Lala's affiliate details to the end of this, so just click the
My
mystery
fault.
box link first. Yeah, click the mystery box link first. Get that cookie
Mhm.
set, and then start to explore. And I'll show you at the very top. If you go to online courses,
There you go.
here's how you find all of the online courses, and you'll see the variety that we have. But click here into Lala's, and Lala mentioned she's got freebies. Okay, what are these freebies Lala is telling us about? Look at this right here. This Lala surprised even me. She did not tell me she was adding this, as she actually commissioned this artwork to be made for her class to
Mhm.
give to everybody who
Yes.
is enrolled. So yes, her class is a paid class, and not only are you getting 4 hours of instruction, um, you are also getting this bundle of 10 digital clip art files. And for some folks, if ordering the class, enrolling in the class is a bit of a stretch, if you go to my shop, what you'll find in digital illustrations, that bundle is currently on sale, but as a bundle, $28. But if you want to get them individually, you can as well. And if you do purchase any of these digital assets, digital clip art files, Lala gets a royalty commission. So use her link, folks. There's lots of different options for you to not everybody has the biggest infinite budget to spend on craft classes and things like that. We totally understand that. But this is a way for designers and folks like Lala, who are really fabulous teachers. Lala says of herself
Aw.
she's a teacher, And so it's, a way for us to really like offer you instruction and classes and workshops at this nice, comfortable pace and not a super sped up video where we have to talk real fast and speed up our video and get it all done in 10 minutes or less. So that's the big difference between master classes and, the standard tutorials, which none of us are going to stop doing. We're all going to still continue doing tutorials and videos on YouTube. We're still going to do live streams on YouTube. This is just another offering that we have. So the it's not too late to get any of these master classes, and even after, so starting tomorrow is masterclass week,
Yes.
and that is the initial two of our classes will be recorded live. They will be recorded live. So tomorrow we kick off masterclass week with Meg. She's going to teach
Mhm.
us how to do a little bit of creative playing to understand some design concepts and how we can use that to create different layouts and compositions. We're going to wrap up the week with another live recording with Gaz, who is here in the live chat, handcrafted by Gaz. He's going to teach us a really fun fold card. Everything is holiday crafting themed because many of us are starting to get into our holiday crafting. And in particular, I think what Lala said is like right on. If you want to capture those holiday memories, you want to capture
Mhm.
your memories, period. And what makes it easier to do is if you actually prepare a little bit in advance. So Lala's class is not only going to have the digital clip art that you can use to decorate your album with. She's also got a free printable with labels for, prompts that you can use to help you. It's, what I love about Lala's class is that it's not just about how do you take your photos and then, immortalize them in an album.
Mhm.
She's actually giving us prompts for that will help you to actually like experience the holidays in a different way. Because for example, I don't want to give away the class, but one of the prompts, for example, is, it actually helps you to create some memories too. The prompts are well, Lala, do you want to give one away? Maybe one of the 25 prompts.
Okay. Okay. Most of the time, there's this family tradition. Okay. That probably for the family right now, how about future generations, right? When your kids or your family members have their own families, right? Do they want to continue on with that travel, that family tradition? So there's one day for that one. So there are prompts just so some people think, Lynn, that what if there's nothing happening in a holiday during like 25 days in December and there's nothing specifically happening? Does that mean that I can't do this? No. Right. So there are many ways to do that. And we actually give you, prompts or, inspiration that you can start with. If you are just new to memory keeping, holiday memory keeping, then these prompts will help you out. So again, whether you're seasoned, memory keeper or just starting out, this class is really, perfect for everybody and anybody who wants to immortalize, their holiday traditions or experiences.
Yeah, so well put, because I feel like a lot of times, um your class isn't like, oh, put this here, put that there. Part of it is just giving yourself some structure, like a nice little foundation to
Yes.
be ready so that when December hits, it's all about creating those memories,
Mhm.
and you already have like maybe 60-70% of the memory keeping of it done. But it also
Exactly.
helps you with those prompts, maybe, enjoy the holidays in these various different ways. And so really really love that it's been a very well thought out class, beautifully presented.
Thank
And
you.
I see the questions about how do we get them. For every class that you find, there's actually three different options for how to get that class. So
Mhm.
you can buy each class individually. That's uh, if you are on a budget and there's only specific classes that you are or topics that you are interested in, that's a good bet. if you want the best bet, right now we have the all access class that is super reduced. This just gets you the courses. There are 7 classes, there are 7 master classes, and it gives you access to all of them.
Mm.
If you can register now, you can register tomorrow, you can register 2 years from now. As Lala said, these classes were designed to be evergreen so that they are as relevant today as they will be a year from now. It's not about us telling you about these great new products that we just got as part of a design team package. It's not about, using any particular thing. It's about, us being better crafters, sharing our craft with each other,
Mhm.
and giving it the instructions in a way that is comfortably paced, because everything is filmed real time so that you can follow along, and available to you so that you can watch it over and over again whenever you want. And every year when you get around to making your holiday album, you can refer back to this class,
Exactly.
and the downloads are available for you forever and always. So you have access to that too. Now, so that's probably your best bet. Now, I will say this though, the all access pass, when masterclass week ends, masterclass week goes from, as Lala said, the 21st to the 27th.
27.
After the 27th, that all access pass is gone. At least the discount for it will be gone. Right now,
Mhm.
it's being offered at $75. Look at Lala's class, it's $55. And that includes $40 in digital assets. So that already is a very discounted price because we're not even factoring in the digitals. Like, because you get 10 digis, and on top of that, you get the free printable with the labels for the prompts for each of your 25 days of Christmas. So Lala packed a lot into her class, and her class alone is already got a price tag of 55, but you can get all 7 classes for 75. That's all digital online classes. And if you are interested in physical product, we are selling the mystery box, which we're throwing in for free, the all access pass. Again, after masterclass week, so starting October 28th, the mystery box, if it's not already sold out by then, it will no longer include this all access pass to Easy Holiday Crafting. So you can still get the mystery box if it hasn't sold out. It'll
Go for
just
it.
be the goodies, which if anyone wants to see, I've done so many unboxings. I don't know if anyone wants to see the mystery box unboxing, but I do have one to show if anyone wants. But this gives you $300 worth of craft goodies plus the free all access pass,
Mhm.
and you get it for that price. Now, I clicked over it to it, and so if people saw it, they saw it. So
Mm.
I may as well I may as well show you.
Okay. Lynn,
Um
before we move on to the mystery box, somebody has a question about an homework. You want
oh,
to?
okay. I can
Okay, what a
let's
homework is?
What is homework? Thank you for the question. Thank you, Lala, for catching the question.
Mhm.
So I'll just go into the course. So every course we did as instructors, we're all using the Easy Wonder dies, and I just
Mhm.
finished telling you it's not about product, right? That's
Mhm.
okay. You don't have to have the Easy Wonder dies. Every class comes with video instruction on how to cut the Easy Wonder die cuts. You can do it manually, and you're getting
Mhm.
my printable, the mini one sheet wonder that the Easy Wonder dies were based off of. So every single class includes this. So if you don't have the Easy Wonder dies, but you want to use the same shapes and whatnot that we're using in our
Mhm.
classes, you can do that. Every class has a supplies and homework um, uh, page or lesson, as it's called on the website.
Mhm.
And most of the instructors have actually provided a video for how to get ready for their class so that when they are crafting, and I'll add this to Lala's, I'm just noticing now that it's missing. There's
Mhm.
also going to be a PDF instruction as well. So let me bounce to. Sorry if my scrolling is giving anyone motion sickness.
No, no, it's okay.
All right. So here's, for example, my class. One of my classes. If
Mhm.
you go to the homework and preparation, I have a real time video that shows you everything that I recommend that you do before you
Yeah.
take my class. And you can take the class whenever you'd like. During masterclass week from the 21st, starting tomorrow, to the 27th, will be the first airing. So 2 classes are recorded live, 5 classes are pre-recorded, and the 5 classes, they will air for the very first time for everybody to see on the date that they're scheduled to air. And that gives us the opportunity for folks who join us for this event. It's nice to kind of make an event of it so that you can be there in the live chat, and the instructors will try to be there in the live chat, so that if you're catching us during masterclass week, it's the benefit of being the first to experience the masterclass when it first launches. You get to
Mhm.
be in there, we'll have live chat, and we can take questions even in those pre-recorded classes. So with homework, if you want to be able to follow along with the instructors during class, then it's recommended that you do some homework ahead of time. So it's your choice, but my homework video, for example, is also filmed in real time. And so, for example, my flip video, it's I think 2 hours of homework and about 2 hours of class. So my flip video, my flip masterclass is also combined about 4 hours of instruction, maybe 4.5. Every class will also have a PDF that goes through what the homework is. It will have also written and photo step-by-step instructions.
Mhm.
So to a point that Lala made earlier, everybody learns differently. The video instruction is always going to be
Mhm.
there, and if you need the words written out and maybe some photos to really like zoom in on a particular detail, those are being provided as well. Nobody screenshot this, okay? So because this
Scroll
is,
past.
yeah, scroll fast.
Okay, there you go.
So that's all. So this is the other reason why these are called master classes, because all of the instructors have put in a lot of time and a lot of thoughtfulness to really give you all of the instructions, all of those things in multiple different forms. During the masterclass event itself, like I said, 2 classes will be recorded live for the first time, recorded live. That's going to be the kickoff on the 21st with Meg, and the wrap up session with Gaz on the 27th. In between those 2 days, there's going to be 5 pre-recorded masterclasses that air live for the very first time. And when you go to the course page for each of those, this is the date and time for each of those classes will be on there. So I hope that answers the question about homework. And were there other questions that I missed? Where do we find access? So for each class, so you do have to visit each class, and when you are officially enrolled, just scroll down and you'll find the course lessons, and supplies and homework will be where you find that. It's not fair or feasible to put all of the classes instructions in one PDF, because not everybody buys all of the classes, because each of the classes is available for individual sale. So I hope that answers the question, Judy. And if are there more questions? Just let me know if I missed your question. I am happy to answer. Um, is there a specific web address? So the every class has its own page and
Mhm.
its own uh, web address. Um, if you are enrolled, start there and then go to my account and um, when you're logged in, you have to be logged in. If you're already registered, go to view my online classes or courses. And this will show you all of the classes that you're registered for, whether it's
Mhm.
one of the master classes or a coloring with Meg class. Every class that you've enrolled in, you'll find access to it there. Um, oh, wow, this all just happened? Thanks.
Oh, Judy's so sweet.
So, yeah, that's so sweet of you. So, the I'm gonna take this up with you offline.
Okay.
So because it's a little because D, you need to actually register on my
Mm-mm.
and because Judy bought you the class, I have to manually enroll you because she's basically transferring her because it's attached to her account right now and she's
Mhm.
basically going to transfer it to you. So we'll take that up offline and just message me, okay? So I don't forget. Um great questions and thank you. That's so sweet of you, Judy, to buy this for your friend.
Yes.
That's
They're
so
BFFs, Judy said.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
wonderful. I need more BFFs like you. All
Can
right.
we be BFFs?
Yeah, I know, right? Like everybody
No,
who
just
wants to be
kidding. I love you.
BFFs
Love
with
you, Judy.
Judy, raise your hand. Okay, so just wanted the folks to know. So those are your options. But Lala said earlier, two of them are completely free. So if nothing else, just sign up for Meg's class and Gaz's class because both of them are free. So if you go to live kickoff
Mhm.
is Meg's class. That's the one that starts tomorrow, is recorded live tomorrow. You can see the individual class is free.
Mhm.
So just register for Meg's class, register for Gaz's class. His is free as well. So lots of different options. Wherever you see this it's all branded the same. Now, sneaky peek, not really quite announced yet, but my next masterclass is on masculine makes.
There we
And that class will
go.
take place in February. So, if you are browsing my website, you're going to find that those classes are already open for enrollment. You can see who's teaching those classes. This is what I wanted to show you was Gaz's class. So completely free. So get Gaz's class, get Meg's class, and that's why we do some free classes. Now it's only free until the end of masterclass week. So basically, do everything you want to do by the 27th if you want to get the best bargain. All access pass goes away after the 27th. The free classes go away. They're still available. It's just the discount will go away, I should say. So the best deals to be had are now until the
The
27th.
27th. Go, go,
And
go.
just so folks know, if you are, yes, Sarah's teaching in February, two classes, in fact. Um, just so that you guys know, because you're watching, and I like to, when you get me talking, I can't stop. If you join us next week, I'm going to be giving away free all access passes to the Masculine Makes um, masterclass series. So join us. If you haven't already, at least join the live ones, and you might actually win an all access pass to Masculine Makes. So that's another five. that's another 5 master classes, and you can kind of see the topics here. I won't read them all out, but that's just a little secret between us. So, because I haven't announced it anywhere else, but that's the plan. So hopefully you all will join us and have that opportunity. So try to have everything for every budget. Okay, so I don't think we need to. Do we need to do an unboxing, or I don't know, Lala? I want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, I think people also are tired because
Yeah,
it's very late for
exactly.
you guys. In as much as, of course, I want to. Okay, Lynn also actually unboxed already a lot of some of the mystery boxes, so they can find it in your channel, Lynn. Right? Also,
They
some of the
can.
unboxing.
I can. You know what? Okay, we're here. I'll do it real fast.
Okay,
Okay, I'll do it
there you go.
super fast because I just don't want. I want.
8x speed.
Yeah, I'll pretend I'm a sped up video, folks. Okay, come on. Let's see how fast could I do this. All right, what do you get? You get handmade cards from our instructors. You get at least 10, 12, 13. This box is upside down. I'm gonna have to
Oh,
turn
that's
every
nice.
single thing. You get some beautiful
Oh my god.
cards. Look at all of these
Ooh.
cards that are handmade by our instructors who are teaching. You're gonna get some amazing, mostly these are new. Some of them might be gently used, but they're gonna be full. They're not gonna be missing anything. And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, so many items. Like I'm still pulling out actual stamps and dies, folks. So this is what a mystery box, specifically the mystery box for easy holiday crafting. Now there's another mystery box available that is for the masculine makes. It's not gonna look like this, folks, because it's not gonna have this special fancy zipper pouch that Lala had printed and she actually made for us. So in this little baggie, you're gonna find, some tags made by us, some embellishments, action wobblers,
Ooh.
wax seals. You're gonna find some embellishment baggies. You're gonna find this one has a full size Nuvo drop.
Ooh. In
Um,
teal.
in teal, I know. I'm willing to part with my teal, folks. A sample spool of ribbon, and before this, oh, here it is. Then every box will have a collectible button pin for that masterclass. So this is the masculine makes masterclass will have its own button pin that you can collect if you are into collecting button pins. It won't have this though because Lala's not teaching at masculine makes. So
I'll be part of the student.
yeah, this
Register.
is a special, very exclusive item here. And then on top of that, oh, I missed the embossing folder. Then on top of that, there's also the equivalent of 2 full paper pads. So these are variety packs. This is what takes a long time in the
Yes.
unboxing. I'm not gonna actually show every sheet, but I'll just let you know it's from a multitude of different brands. You've got Not Too Shabby, you've got Cat Scrappiness, Pink and Main, My Favorite Things, Concord Ninth, Echo Park, Polka Doodles papers are in here, Graphic 45, Basic Gray, because Meg contributed Basic Gray. One of them will always have a little bit of coordinating ephemera, and you will always get, because it's a sample from so many different brands, you'll always get at least 3 to 4 sheets from every collection. So, Judy, the boxes they're shipped when the orders are placed. But none of these items are required for Masterclass week. So the mystery box will be available until it's sold out. And as soon as your order comes in, once the payment is confirmed, then I ship it out. So let's count it up as we put everything back in. You get the equivalent of 2 full paper pads, so that's 24 sheets each, 48 sheets total. An embossing folder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stamps, dies, stencils, embossing folders. And then on top of that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 handmade cards by the various instructors. So that's probably the quickest I've ever done a mystery box unboxing.
You did it.
I did it. So this box has, sometimes if there were, a stamp that's maybe slightly used, I tended to throw in an extra stamp or die here and there. So right now the mystery boxes, there's well, I haven't checked the stock, but last I checked there was maybe about a dozen or so left. So they're not all sold out. So there's plenty to go around, folks. But do get them now, though, if you want to have it actually include the all access pass. So right now, if you get a mystery box, it will include the all access pass. You actually have options. You can pick up the masculine makes. Oh, actually, I should tell you this. If you get the masculine makes mystery box, it won't ship until November, because I'm waiting on my instructors to actually send me their goodies, because these goodies are essentially, craft goodies from myself and from the fabulous instructors teaching. So you're going to get some stuff that's like, that we, is kind of precious to us, but we know that we're not crafting with it actively. Maybe we'll never get to it.
Lynn,
So
if I won the lotto, I would buy all of those because they're different. They're all different inside. It's like,
yeah. Oh, Susan, do you want to know what came from Gaz? So what came from Gaz were the ones that are Crafter's Companion. So Gaz sent all new products, but he sent them like this. Oh wait, like this. so that folks, he could send me more product. And so if you see it sleeved like this with like the little label, those are from Gaz. They're brand new, but he took it out of the retail packaging so that he could send me more stuff.
Yes.
And shipping, because Gaz was shipping out of the UK. And so in order to get most bang for buck in terms of shipping costs, he took new products that he's never used. He just took it out of the retail packaging. So all right, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Really excited. Oh, Gaz says 13 left. Thanks for checking, friend. So at the moment, like I said, there are 2 mystery boxes. One that has the all access pass to Easy Holiday Crafting, which is starting next week. So that's one option. Mystery box number 2 includes the all access pass to Masculine Makes. After the 27th, though, there's only going to be, there'll still be the mystery boxes, but they won't all have the all access pass. So now's a good time. You have the most options.
I have a question. Maybe they want to know what time we go live every day this week.
Oh,
for the
thank
Easy
you.
Holiday Crafting.
Yeah, thanks. Monday through Friday, it's 4 p.m. Pacific, but this will be listed in the course as well. And when you register and you go to the course page where it's the actual class, it's going to tell you the start time. So Monday through Friday, it's 4 p.m. Pacific. Saturday and Sunday, we go live at 10 a.m. Pacific. And there still will be crafty fun with friends on Saturday. So I'm gonna. So my flip class is Saturday morning at 10 a.m. but it's only like 2.5 hours, so I'll be done before crafty fun. I might be able to fit in a nap. We'll see. At least it's pre-recorded, so there's at least that. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lala, for helping teach us a little bit something about what it's like to be on a design team from like a very fresh new perspective.
And it's not too late, right, Rin? 51 years old First time DTI.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's
No,
the
don't
other
think you're
thing.
too old enough, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing that I love that I didn't underscore as you were mentioning it is that you're never too old to,
Yeah, try it out.
to try
Quick.
something new, to well, crafting is so like it's 5 years old to
Mm.
65. It's for everybody.
Exactly.
And design teams, I mean, there are people who are in high school and joining design teams. I never knew about design teams when I was in high school, but there are very young crafters who are a part of our amazing community, and then there are more crafters who have more life experience, who are
That's where
part
we come
of
in.
who are part of design teams as well. So it's never, if it's something
Ah,
that you want to do, you can do it. Just put your mind to it, and you can do it.
cheering you on, ladies and gents. All right.
All right. So everybody, thank you again,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Lala. And I hope you are. I guess have a great week ahead because the weekend's almost over.
Yes, it's actually Monday morning for me.
It's already Monday for you. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye.